My other two beautiful sons, I did not have the honor to birth, but I've definitely had the honor to be their mother in beautiful ways. So my son Adam was my stepson. He was the son of my last husband, and he came into my life when he was about 10, and I really loved him. His mama, he had his mom that's passed on now, but his mom was a really lovely lady, and she and I got along very well. So it was very nice to work with incorporating another mama into the story, the birth mama and the mama, and to be his stepmom, to be a support person for him when it didn't look like his parents were listening to him very well. His mom was always very receptive to anything that I thought and anything that I would try or suggest. She was just really a pleasure to be a co-mama with in a way. We weren't co-mamas in the way that one usually thinks of that, but she would call and ask me things, and there was never anything unpleasant in our relationship at all. She knew that I loved her son, and she loved me for loving her son, and wanted to be like her. So that when he was with us on he wasn't with his father every day of the week, but when he was with us, um, she was an absolute ally in everything that was going on. So that was important. And then my son Gregory became my son when he was almost 15, 14, 15. And he was actually my son Joseph's best friend. And he was in my house every day anyway, and doing stuff with us and being here with us. And his primary family, his birth family was having some shakiness. So he and I talked about that because Greg was with us so much, and his auntie, his mom's sister, actually moved in with us and became roommates with us. So we were functioning already as family in that way. But I could not make decisions for him because I'm not legally, patriarchally, I was not connected with him. So Greg and I sat down one day and we wrote out a contract. And he's the only of my beautiful boys with whom I have a contract in this life to be his mother, which is incredibly special. So he wrote down the things he would like, and he wrote down the things that he would agree to do, and I did the same. And then we made a co-joined document, his wants and my wants. Everybody's needs could get met. And in the back of one of my drawers in my bureau, is that letter still sitting there for proof that Gregory agreed. So when there were things that wouldn't happen according to the agreement, I would just pull it out and fluff it up. You agreed. But yeah, so I have little ones that were given to me by the angels and God. All of them were given to me by the angels and God. One was given to me due to my choice of a partner at that time, and one was he and I sat down and worked it out together that we would have this relationship of being, and I'm grateful and overjoyed and proud of each connection, each son, and each walk that I'm making with the son, with each son in this life.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing those stories. I mean, what I really love is that there's these images of you as this young teen mom having twins and having an empowering, beautiful experience giving birth. I feel like the world needs to hear that kind of story more because we hear so many stories of trauma and
Misery.
pain and fear and not being safe, you know? And what you exemplify in your stories of motherhood is the power of motherhood and knowing that safety belongs to you, that you are the one doing this and that you are the one deciding whether you're safe or not, and that there's agency there. I think the common narrative we hear around birth and motherhood is that we need others to give us safety and we need others to provide safety for us. And so thank you for reminding us of that. I also heard the story of the birth mother and the stepmother and the mutual love for the child and this shape of family that's not this hierarchical, patriarchal society version of what family is, but what real family is. You know, of mothers caring about children, all the children, not only the children they gave birth to or their own children, or, you know, that motherhood is this universal love and that we can love each other as mothers and create community. And then there's the community mother, right? When a child in your community needed a mother, being able to show up. And I love that contract. And I'm thinking, I think I want to make those contracts with my grown children now.
You should.
It's a great idea, right?
I think we all
Thank
should.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you
think
for that
we all
great
should.
idea.
I would just love to say that, I appreciate that you appreciate my stories. I mean, I appreciate that you appreciate my stories. I mean, I appreciate my life story. And I also want to say that I find them very sad. And I find them very sad for the reason is that there was so much of me having to be stalwart and brave and on my own. I mean, one of the things that's very important to me as a doula and as an educator is talking to and helping people create their village. I was able to do all of these things, and thank God I was able to. My children were well cared for and loved, but I had to do it alone. And there's another layer. The missing piece is, where is the community?
Yeah.
Where was my mother in my birth story? Nowhere to be found. Where was my mother in raising my children? Nowhere to be found. And where were other people who came in to help and support and to teach me things? I'm very fortunate I was able to learn things that were helpful from other sources, and that's work. I'm so glad
thank you for the reminder, and that is what we can work for now, right? To be good ancestors. So the first time I heard the word doula was in 2000, the year 2000.
Wow.
I was going to my best friend's first birth. We were in our 20s and she was having a baby, and I was going to be with her because I loved her and I wanted to be with her and support her in any way I could.
There you go.
And I was just showing up for an important person in my life. And she told me that I was being her doula. So that was how I heard that word for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been a doula much longer than I have. Mm-hmm. And so I'm curious if you heard about this practice called being a doula and you were like, yes, I want to do that. Or if you were already supporting people, taking care of important people in your life and your community and supporting them in this way, and then someone said, you're being a doula. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it. I fell in love with birth as soon as my twins were born.
Yeah.
And it was one thing to be taught about birth and get good childbirth education, and another thing again to actually do that. And so after my twins were born, I would talk to friends and family and people around me and people on the bus that I was riding to places with how amazing it was to have a baby. And I got to be the woman that people would say, you need to go talk to her because she knows, she just had some babies and she had a great experience, and. And so for many years, I was that woman. And in other work that I did, like I was doing banking and brokering and all that stuff. So it was in a very male oriented environment. And I was the woman in those environments that when all the gentlemen around me, his wives and lady friends were having babies, they would say, talk to her because she knows about this. I did that for a long time before actually a nurse in one of the hospitals in New York said, you're a doula.
Okay, so that's who told you. So you were already doing it, and someone told you that's what it was called.
And I was like, that's very interesting. That is very interesting. And then I did some more research on that. And I took numerous trainings. I didn't find that the trainings would make me any better at doing what I was already doing, but I took them. It was not until I met Mama Shafia, which was like what, 8 years ago, 8 years ago, until I started to really find the missing piece in myself as a birth worker, as a doula.
Okay, so you met Mama Shafia 8 years ago, and you are a teacher for Shafia Monroe Consulting Doula Training.
The teacher, by the way.
You are the lead teacher for that program.
I'm very proud of that.
But you started this work many years ago. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this since 2 weeks after the twins' birth.
And how old are they?
So they are what, 46?
Okay.
Getting ready to be 47.
Okay,
yeah.
So you've been at this for almost 47 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Amazing. So apparently the word doula is Greek for like woman servant or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. Some people feel a little turned off by this, and then they say like, I want to call myself something else, or they just have feelings about it. And I'm curious how you feel about the word doula.
Some white folks made up a word. No disrespect to your level of self.
None taken.
And unfortunately, that's kind of a classic thing, for white folks to go into indigenous cultures or cultures that are not white and see what they are doing and take what they are doing and market what they're doing and make money off of it for themselves. Mm-hmm. And how I feel about that is angry. Mm-hmm. I'm really pissed off. And I take a deep breath and I go on with whatever I'm doing. I've had to deal with that my whole life. But the concept of what a doula is truly not a special thing. It's a very human thing. Humans have always gone off together in groups. They've gone off together, specifically the female humans have gone off together in groups. When it was time for a baby to be born, baby's brought back into the community. The father is your dad. Good for you. We love you, Dad. Prayers and food and ceremony and all kinds of important things are done with the community. There are not just these special people that just do these special things. Anyone should be able to help someone have a straightforward baby, straightforward, healthy baby. When I was a Cub Scout leader, all my little Cub Scouts, well, they weren't little, they were teenagers, but they knew what to do. I taught them.
This is why we're putting a library in front of your house.
Like,
all the high school students over here are also going to know what to do.
And they were so proud. They were like, almost 30 little boys who I keep calling them little boys. They were young men who just, we know what to do. They have a badge and everything. So good for them. Just like we should all know CPR. You should be able to save my life if I'm choking.
Yeah.
You're human, I'm a human. There's certain things that humans ought to be able to do for each other in a straightforward fashion. Mommies who are complicated need more complication. But most mommies are healthy folks who are just going to have a baby. They fell in love, they had a baby, they got pregnant. It's a completion of that whole loving connection. So doula really means a person who's going to help another person have a baby. Traditionally, that person has been a female. There are lovely male doulas I've had the pleasure of meeting and training, gentlemen who I'm really glad that they're out there wanting to support birth. That it should be anyone who loves women, who has faith in the process, who's not afraid of the process. Because especially a first-time mom, or a really young mama, or a single mama, they might be nervous and afraid, and anyone who can make her smile, get mama to laugh, a good hearty laugh moves that baby down the birth canal.
Sure does. What a great way to get born.
With mommy laughing, and it's the first thing you hear, mommy laughing, that would be, and so people who think things like that, not just me, but there are other people like me who think like that, should be the ones who are around our birthing community, our birthing mamas, those who can help make sure that breastfeeding starts off right, and continues. And that's all the statistics, that's all the good word about what a doula is. Doulas do all that. So, whatever you want to, my title in this world that I've taken for myself is the Senegalese word, mamisi. And mamisi basically nets down to woman. So yes, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma. I love, I teach, I care, I support. I'm a woman at the end of the day. So I'm doing all that wonderful stuff that I value highly, that patriarchy doesn't have time for because they can't make any money off of it much. And I'm happy to be in the community as the mommies.
Thank you for sharing that, because I've heard other members of Shipper Circle call you mamisi, and it's a beautiful word, but I didn't know exactly where it came from and what it meant. So I appreciate that.